If you've been getting up 2, 3 times a night, or holding it in during a laugh with your grandkids because you're not sure you'll make it, I need you to hear this. It's not your body giving up on you. It's one small muscle that nobody ever taught you how to use properly, and I found the exact way to fix it. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what happens inside your bladder and pelvic floor after 65, why control naturally weakens, and the specific daily exercise done the right way that studies link to real improvement. No vague advice, no just do Kegels. The actual mechanics, the actual routine, and the actual mistake almost everyone makes. Here's the part almost nobody explains clearly. Your bladder itself doesn't wear out. What changes is the support system around it. Picture the pelvic floor as a hammock, a sling of muscle stretching from the pubic bone to the tailbone, holding up the bladder, the bowel, and in women, the uterus. That hammock is under tension every single day of your life, whether you notice it or not. Coughing, laughing, lifting, walking, it's constantly absorbing pressure. Over decades, 3 things quietly erode that hammock. First, hormonal shifts, especially the drop in estrogen, after menopause, thin the tissue that gives the pelvic floor its elasticity. Second, decades of everyday pressure. Pregnancy and childbirth for many women. Chronic straining for others. Gradually loosen the muscle fibers the same way a rubber band loses snap after being stretched too many times. Third, and this one applies to everyone, men included, general muscle mass declines with age. That's not just your arms and legs, it's every muscle, including the ones you can't see, holding up organs you never think about until they stop cooperating. That's mistake number 1, the myth that bladder problems are simply part of getting old that you have to accept. They're not aging in the sense of decay. They're a muscle losing tone from disuse, and muscles that lose tone from disuse can in many cases regain it with the right training. And here's mistake number 2 coming up, because most people who do try to fix this are doing the exercise completely wrong, and I'll show you exactly where they go wrong in a moment. The exercise in question is what's commonly known as a Kegel, named after the doctor who popularized it in the 1940s. But here's the thing. Most people doing Kegels are activating the wrong muscles entirely, which is why so many say, I tried that, it didn't work. Here's how to actually find the right muscle. Imagine you're sitting on the toilet midstream, and you need to stop the flow of urine. That squeeze and lift sensation, that's the muscle. Not your stomach, not your thighs, not your glutes. If your stomach is tightening or you're holding your breath, you're using the wrong muscles. And that's the single mistake that cancels the entire exercise out. Once you've located it, here's the actual routine clinicians recommend. Squeeze that muscle and hold for a slow count of 5. Then release completely for a count of 5. Full release matters as much as the squeeze, because a pelvic floor that never relaxes becomes tense and dysfunctional in its own way. Repeat that 10 times. That's 1 set. Aim for 3 sets a day, morning, afternoon, evening, roughly 90 seconds each. The progression matters too. In week 1, don't worry about reps, worry about isolating the right muscle without tensing your abdomen, thighs, or breath. By week 2 or 3, once the movement feels clean, add the quick 10-second holds. By week 4, most people can hold longer and add quick flick contractions, fast 1-second squeezes, which train the muscle's ability to react instantly to a cough or a sneeze, which is often where leaks actually happen. And here's something rarely mentioned. Consistency beats intensity. A weak, correct squeeze done daily outperforms an intense, incorrect squeeze done twice a week. The muscle responds to frequency, the same way any other muscle in the body does. So what does this actually do inside the body? 3 things. First, it rebuilds the physical support under the bladder and urethra, which is what controls sudden leaks during coughing, laughing, or lifting, what's medically called stress incontinence. Second, a stronger, more responsive pelvic floor helps calm the false gotta go right now signals that come from an overactive bladder, because part of that urgency signal is actually a communication loop between the bladder and the surrounding muscles, not just the bladder alone. Third in this surprises people for men, particularly after prostate procedures. This is one of the most consistently recommended recovery tools because the same muscle group controls urinary function there too. As for timeline, this matters because unrealistic expectations are why people quit. Pelvic floor training generally shows measurable improvement starting around 4 to 6 weeks of consistent daily practice, with the most significant gains typically appearing between 8 and 12 weeks. This is not a same-day fix. It is not even a same-week fix. It is a slow, steady rebuilding process, the same as any other strength training, just for a muscle you can't see in a mirror. Now, one important note, because I'm not here to sell you an exercise as a cure-all. This routine helps a wide range of pelvic floor weakness, but it's not a universal fix. If bladder symptoms come on suddenly, or come with pain, blood, fever, or real discomfort, that's not something to train through. That needs a doctor, because it could be an infection or something else entirely. And pelvic floor exercises aren't right for everyone. Some people actually have muscles that are too tight rather than too weak, and for them this can make things worse, not better. A pelvic health physical therapist can tell you which category you're in, often in a single visit, and that's worth doing before you start, especially if this has been going on a while. This exercise is a genuinely well-supported, low-risk starting point for a huge number of people. But low risk and right for absolutely everyone aren't the same thing. And it's worth saying that plainly. So here's everything in one place. The pelvic floor is a muscle, not a fixed structure, which means it responds to training the same way any muscle does. The technique is a slow 5-second squeeze, a full 5-second release, 10 reps. 3 times a day done by isolating the right muscle, not the stomach or thighs. The results build over 4 to 12 weeks, not overnight. And the biggest mistake, squeezing the wrong muscles or holding your breath, is the reason most people give up on something that actually works. If you found your version of that, stopping the stream sensation while watching this, do your first set right now. Today, not tomorrow. And if you want the follow-up on the exact breathing pattern that makes this exercise even more effective, that's the next video waiting for you.